Okay. Good morning to Madam Fazila and my fellow friends. Today we will present our topic about poverty. Slide. The first one is intro. What is mean poverty? Poverty is a social condition described by any absence of asset vital for fundamental endurance or needed to fulfill the base guideline of living expected for where an individual resides. The degree of pay. Okay. Example: the best guideline of living. Human needs. First one is self development. Second, third, family, child, friend, travel, buy a apartment, buy a car, earn money, monitor health, hobbies, and be happy. Okay, the next one is our objective. The first one is to do research on how poverty issue exists in Russia. Second is to do discussing the effect of poverty, and the last one is ensure how to encourage Malaysia to fight against poverty.
Okay, so I will explain about the methodology. So methodology is the specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic. And in a research paper, the methodology section allows the reader to critically evaluate a study's overall validity and reliability. So next one, for the qualitative, we are choosing this method to collect our information through giving the question for respondent to fill. Our target is around 30 respondents, especially from the MSU students. And for the next one, which is cause of the issue for no poverty. So the first point is lack of good jobs or job growth. So when you don't have a good job, you are not getting a good income. In many countries, traditional jobs like farming disappear. The Democratic Republic of Congo is a good example where most of the population live in rural areas, stripped of natural resources from years of colonialism. Half of the DRC live below the poverty line. Even in nations like the United States, where many people do have jobs, those jobs are not paying enough. But according to the Economic Policy Institute, large group of workers with full-time, year-round employment are still below the federal poverty guidelines. And for the second point, which is lack of the good education, poverty is a cycle, and without education, people are not able to better their situations. According to the UNESCO, over 170 million people could be free of extreme poverty if they only had basic reading skills. However, in many areas of the world, people are not getting educated. The reasons vary. Often times, families need kids to work. There are not schools close by, or girls are not being educated because of sexism and discriminations. So, and third point, which is welfare or the conflict. In times of war, everything stops. Productivity suffers as well as a country's GDP. It's very difficult to get things going again as foreign businesses and countries would not want to invest. For families and individuals, war and conflicts can make it impossible to stay in one place. It is also very common for women to become the primary breadwinners, and they deal with many barriers like sexual violence and discrimination. And the fourth point, which is weather or climate change. According to the World Bank, climate change has the power to impoverish 100 million people in the next decade. Also, we know climate change causes droughts, floods, and severe storms, and that can take down successful countries while pulling poor ones down even further. Recovering is extremely difficult as well, especially for agriculture communities where they barely have enough to feed themselves, let alone prepare for the next harvest year. And the last point is lack of government support to combat many sorry to combat many of the issues we have described. The government needs to be involved. However, many governments are either unable to unwilling to serve the poor. This might mean failing to provide social welfare programs, redirecting funds away from those who need it, failing to build good infrastructure, or actively persecuting the population. If a government fails to meet the needs of the poor will most likely stay that way. And the last but not least from my part, which is uh, suggestion, not poverty issue. So the welfare, like you can see here, this point will my teammate will explain it. So yeah, thank you from me.
Thank you, Virus. So there are a few causes for the poverty issue. So we also provide a few suggestions to fight the poverty. All of those suggestions are education must give to everyone. In this way, we can least prepare and train the young generations for their future, as we know that all people deserve free education. In every society, the advantages of an educated populace are self-evident. Education can develop skills and abilities, fight for inequality, and decrease risk and vulnerability. To give education for all, we can build a school in the rural area so every child can learn like reading. Also, be a volunteer can teach them so we can take action against global poverty. Other than that, the best possible use of government funds, so education is essential for everyone because education can change their life and future. Education also known as very effective way to combat the increasing of poverty. All of us knows that education is important, but it is not just for them who are deserves. Half of population might not don't have any identity information or other document problem, having a financial problem, or some kids are being forced to work, and also discriminations that away them from getting an education. For sure, education is free for everyone to learn, so we are supposed to be volunteer to help them, especially the young generation, to get knowledge through education given. The acquired skills of education such as reading skills, communication, writing, and numeracy. With providing education for them, it may change their life with many skills for them to creating the better future. And the second suggestion is provide more jobs can ease the burden. Creating jobs in poverty-ridden communities allows individuals to pull themselves out of poverty. This solution to global poverty is arguably one of the most effective. Government can achieve this by rebuilding their infrastructure, developing renewable energy sources, innovating abandoned housing, and raising the minimum wage. By raising the minimum wage in existing jobs, companies will combat recent inflation in both developed and developing countries. Other than that, government should take action by looking forward the high poverty places. By all of this action taken, it will achieve the objective to prevent the increasing of poverty for each place. Some of the actions also may provide more job opportunity for them who are really in need. These ways will change their life and encourage them to move out from the circle of poverty. And the third one is we must find other alternatives to advance ourselves for the sake of our future, such as start with small business. Most of the poor are in rural areas. However, they will be able to develop themselves if they start their agriculture business. There is a lot of evidence that agriculture can contribute to poverty reduction beyond a direct effect on farmers' incomes. Agricultural development can stimulate economic development outside of the agricultural sector and lead to higher job and growth creation. Increased productivity of agriculture raises farm incomes, increases food supply, reduces food prices, and provides greater employment opportunities in rural areas. Hence, when the small business starts to grow bigger, it can open big opportunity for them to get employment and encourage them to start their own small business. Thus, agricultural is the business that can combat the increasing of poverty, and if many of them trying to start the business, it can stimulate the economic development and helps to increase the spirit of poverty reduction. Next is a government or private charities do some poverty relief programs and require people to work in exchange for social assistance. We can conclude that poverty eradication programs and initiatives run by the government and supported by non-government organizations such as NGO as well as the private sector yield good results. However, the people must play a role in increasing the percentage of poverty reduction. Many are of the view that the government should be responsible for overcoming the issue of poverty through assistance to improve the economy of the B40 group. The goals of poverty relief programs are to bring back awareness of the importance of hard work and doing one's own duty with strong will and full confidence in one's own abilities. And we should invest and implement agricultural program, which is agricultural is the main source of food for everyone. So neither government or non-government should invest and implement agricultural program that can bring opportunities for everyone to gain knowledge, to increase and to improve their agricultural. Therefore, when crop production is more than enough, hunger can be avoided. Also, people can do their agricultural business for their income. For implementing the agricultural program, government or non-government should unite to work together to implement the agricultural program in order to reduce the poverty reduction. This is also the best way to get more people to get the opportunity to increase their knowledge. For example, any of non-government authorities should help the program of no poverty to everyone for free and teach them in order to get more information. It is very sure it can help to prevent increasing of poverty. And next one is technology and innovation should be provided for people live in poverty conditions. So people in poverty tend to have poor to access internet and affordable energy like electricity. To make them they can access internet and electricity, we can build a renewable energy such as solar energy and internet pole tower in the rural areas. Other than that, we can also provide to teach them to be more innovative in the agricultural sector so that they can increase the crop production. Otherwise, government should implement more program or help in order to help people that live in poverty. For example, government needs to provide assistance such as giving internet for free with gadgets for people in poverty conditions. It is because by providing free internet access and free gadget, it can help them to enable internet access. Thus, government should build more electricity station and any of needed in some rural places. It will ease their burden of their works, daily routine, and some important job. And healthcare should make accessible for everyone. It is because why healthcare should make accessible for everyone. People in poverty should get medical care and have a health care center, especially in rural areas. Unfortunately, many rural communities lack healthcare and hence unable to get healthcare, especially for all citizens, children, and mothers, which they need to go to urban or town to get. Moreover, people in poverty tend to have less healthy due to unable to afford medical care for themselves. So, medical care should be free or affordable and available for everyone to get healthier. Furthermore, medical card is important for everyone. It is because medical card comes with insurance plans that can protect them. However, medical card doesn't have ones at the rural areas unable to have their own. We are looking up for this to help them for getting medical card for their better life. And the last suggestions that we have provide is people in poverty must practice proper sanitation and have clean water. For example, like women period poverty is a big issue because they cannot afford sanitary, menstrual health, and don't have clean water to clean themselves. If people in poverty don't practice proper sanitation and clean water, they can get disease easily, like cholera, and tend to live in the surrounding unhygienic conditions. Furthermore, having don't have clean water can be due to pest and vector control, wastewater, and human excreta control. Some of the countries cannot access water due to geography. To prevent these issues, we can supply sanitary menstrual health for women for free and clean water. Teach them the importance of personal hygiene and sanitation and give awareness about to having clean water. With providing the free sanitary menstrual health for needs, it will help some of them to get a cleaner water and they can avoid themselves from getting any disease that may destroy their health. It is important to teach them how to use and explain to them that how much important to get healthcare. We have to encourage them to know about healthcare to prevent from disease. So it is important to have encourage for them in order to help them out of poverty zone.
Okay, for my part, my name is Muhammad Amirul bin Wahid from the Bachelor Human Resource Management. So, about my part is a result of the respondent. So, the result of the respondent is for their age, our respondent Our respondent age include 18 to 20 years old, 21 until 35 years old, 26 to 30 years old, 31 to 35 years old, and 36 to 40 years old. So, the based on the pie chart above, most of respondent is 80 to 20 years old, which is 61.3%, and the second is 35.5, is 21 to 25 years old. So, second is about the ethnic origin. Our respondent ethnic origin include Malay, Chinese, Indian, Bumiputera Sabah, Bumiputera Sarawak, and Tidung. According to the pie chart above, the number of the respondent for ethnic origin is um, Bumiputera Sabah, which is shown at 3.9 of the respondent. Second most highest in Malay, which performed 9.7%. For the education, we are also doing this questionnaire to respondent who are still studying in their own level, which include SPM, certificate, foundation, diploma, degree, master, and PhD. Our most highest respondent is diploma student, which has been answered the question. They give corporate in 58.1% for the answer the all questionnaire give. About the material status, we also provide the question about marital status. Most of our respondents are single, which in 100%. For the employee status, 90.3% is employee for wage. For the should convince store, the open widely to easy to burn or the burden of B40. Okay. From the pie chart above, the question asks respondent of their opinion about should convenience store be open widely is burden of B40. Most of the respondents are choose neutral for the question. Second highest is 35.5% respondent who are agree, 5.9 who are strongly disagree. For the in opinion, what does property means? Our question about property also provide in the question from the to know what exactly respondent opinion about the property. About the appropriate the price of goods, especially daily items such as a raw chicken, fish, and vegetable be controlled by the ministries to avoid operation of the B40 group. The first one is natural, so for 41.9%, and the second is a strongly agree 32.3%, and thirdly agree 22.6%. For the causes of the property today, most of respondents choose about the lack of the good job. For the For those who want to buy their first home, should the price of the house be appropriate according to ability is 100% yes. About should all children have the best standard of education from kindergarten to university level to avoid poverty is yes 87.1 and no 9.7%. About the climate change of occur at the beginning and the year of the year. This is because it's caused a lot of property destruction for the low income. So the first 64.5% yes, and maybe 29%. About the growing vegetable and fruits in residential area, urban house, can increase the income and the need for the low income group. And the first number here is 38.7%. Number two, maybe 22.3%. And yes is 29%. About the opening of the job fair awareness easiest, uh, from the 31 respondents say is agree, 51.6%, and second is the neutral, 35.8%, and strongly agree is 19.4%. For the budget can be considered comprehensive for the low income group. So from here is yes, from the respondent 54.8%, and maybe 41.9%. Okay, by through the pandemic season, the property rate continued to rise. So they say agree 35.5%, strongly agree 41.9%, and the natural 90.4%. Next, this property has caused the status of the social life to become increasingly fragmented. First rank is positive, 61.3%, negative 25.8%. So about the high taxation cost poverty, especially B40. First rank is 58.1%, second 29 maybe, and thirdly 12.9% about no. The upper class or able-bodied people often throw away the excess food. First rank here is strongly agree 48.4%, second 32.3%, and natural 90.4%. Last but not least, is about the best proposal to prevent or reduce the poverty rate that occurred today. So from 31 respondents, 38.7% provide more job can ease the burden. For the second is more to the education must give to the everyone. And the thirdly about the government and the private charity must be together. Okay, next.
So the conclusion is, from the overview above, poverty is a big issue, especially for our Malaysia country. Poverty should not be abandoned. We need to have a value of humanity to give hand for them. These are the reasons we have found that causes for poverty. Our lack of support leads to increase the poverty. There are a few suggestions that we have provided that may help to reduce the poverty issue. We hope that all suggestions given can give the best effort to implementing the spirit of poverty reduction and give big impacts to the issue and the country. So that's all from our group for the poverty issue. Thank you for your attention and have a good day. Thank you.